Hey, Ross Fulton here, founder and principal at ValueWise Consulting. This is part two in a two-part video series sharing the key takeaways from a discussion I led last week with over 50 customer success and sales professionals on the subject of the divide that exists between sales and customer success and vice versa in companies today. The relationship between sales and customer success is a marriage. That's what I proposed, pun intended, to the group last week, and it really hit home. Now, in most companies, this marriage is not a happy one. There is poor communication, there's distrust, there's maybe even jealousy. And so this individual dynamic between these two teams, between the two sets of professionals, is key to solving the wider problem, in addition to the strategic and operational plays that we talked about in the first video. Now, thankfully, we can look to couples therapy and the methods used in couples therapy, I think, to help reduce the divide between sales and customer success at an individual personal level, and gives us some actions we can take immediately as individuals and take to work tomorrow. And so here are sort of three key takeaways that came from last week on that subject, and specifically inspired by the Gottman method of couples therapy. Number one is to build love maps. And this is love maps is a Gottman term. And no, I'm not proposing or even advising that you go out and start sending out invites for love mapping sessions in your company. However, I think we can take something from the principle, which is all about understanding each other's world. So ask yourself, whether you're a sales or a customer success professional, do you understand how sales or customer success professionals are successful? What makes them successful? Do you understand each other's biggest fears? Do you know whether your sales colleague or your customer success colleague has possibly had a negative or series of negative experiences with someone else in your same role, which is driving maybe their behavior or their inclinations? Understanding that and building that that psychological map and driving empathy that way, I think is very powerful. And I think that misunderstanding of each other's roles is very, very apparent in a lot of companies I see. Number two, sharing fondness and admiration. Now, again, I'm not saying that we can easily walk around the office sharing fondness with each other, but I do think we can focus on the admiration side of that equation, celebrating sales' wins with them, sales celebrating customer success's wins with them, just sharing a lot of acknowledgement and appreciation of each other as and when we achieve goals or milestones in our respective teams and strategies, and jointly, of course, I think is, again, a missing piece. If sales is down in the bar at the end of the road celebrating their big win and customer success isn't there, or vice versa, that is a problem and something that is obviously very easily solved. And number three, turning towards instead of away. This essentially is talking about making sure that we are engaging with our counterparts when they're making some sort of connection attempt. And I think the easiest example here is when you're asked for help. If your sales peer or your customer success peer comes in and asks you for help, do what you can to help. That request for help is a connection attempt. It's a bid for connection. And so turn towards that bid and help where you can. Use your love map to help explain maybe how you can help, how you can't help, how you may be able to help tomorrow morning, but you can't help right now. But again, embrace the request for help. Do what you can, and that will again help drive an increased level of engagement and relationship between your two roles, which are so critical to your company. I hope this has been helpful. ValueWise yourself, ValueWise your customers, and I'll see you next time.
Contact ValueWise Consulting to learn more.